What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with game number 5 against Batuhann in this best of 7 series for Punk Stars kind of tournament or whatever. It's show match series he was doing. I think he's done a bunch of them at this point. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty cool stuff. Definitely recommend going over and checking out the actual games if you feel so inclined. I'm not sure if he put them up on YouTube, but they're definitely over on his Twitch channel. This game here, I go in with Isis on the map, Painted Desert. It's there is a couple of spawns here which I feel very, very comfortable with playing as Isis, and I actually think that this spawn that I get here is a really good spawn for Isis against Poseidon. So generally speaking, in the Isis versus Poseidon matchup, the best kind of play for Isis to do is either a second town center. If you have a really nice town center, you can see my priest scouting around for it. I do see a gazelle on top of that town center, and I get very excited until I realize there's only one gazelle over there, which means not going to be a town center to go for there. Looking for the third town center to see if something's over on that one. Potentially that could be worthwhile going to as well. But in general here, if you have awful town centers, then the next best strategy is just basically doing the one town center fast heroic and going for a little bit of damage off of that with a timing attack. Just the standard Isis thing. I picked Isis in this game. I feel like my wrist has kind of settled down a little bit, but I still don't want to be playing anything that is max, micro, max, kind of need APM. I don't want to play any of the Norse gods here. I could have possibly picked Gaia on this map and felt comfortable with that, but I thought maybe not the best map for Gaia. Things are a little bit strange, and there's still some gods that he can pick, which I'm not going to be too happy about playing with Gaia. But he does end up picking the Poseidon on this one, and yeah, it's a thing. I have to deal with it. It's going to be fine. Right now, I see this hunt over on my right side of the screen here. And in all honesty, I'm wishing that I sent villagers there earlier. Yeah, I'm on this rhino, but really on that one rhino, what I should do, and for the most part with Isis, this is the best way to play the early game, is you should put 4 villagers on your starting hunt, and then you should put somewhere between 6 and 8 villagers on your secondary hunt. What that ends up doing is it means your starting hunt, if you have a lot of it like I do in this game, it's going to be able to be available until the in the classical age, to allow you to get a nice heroic age timing without getting pushed off your hunt too easily. But you can see over here, I'm going to finish up on this rhino, and I'm saying, look, I'm going to go over and try and eat that hunt as much as I can, so I don't have to deal with a hero in the classical age, like a what you call it, like a Hippolyta coming in and pushing me off that hunt. So I'm going to leave my rhino, move over to my hunt. It will push me behind on my advance time here, but I'm not too upset about advancing late here with Isis. I just want to eat as much of this hunt as I possibly can. Looking at the time though, this was probably a mistake. This was probably a mistake because if my opponent is going to be going for a Jason, or well, not a Jason, a Theseus in this case, an early archaic hero to harass me, I am going to be upset. I'm going to be upset with it because I'd have to turn around and shank back. And I've got a low HP villager over here already. Probably could have left that in my base, but in all honesty, I don't think it's worth it to be out on this hunt. I should have just eaten the rhino and then jumped onto chickens and herdables, and then come back and eaten this gazelle in the heroic age when I'm putting pressure onto him and he's not stopping me on my hunt. I think that's probably the better way to play it in hindsight. And you do see that the Katoskopos comes in to check out, and there will be a cheeky hero coming for me very, very shortly, which I will opt to run away from. I think that most of the time there's 2 kind of options to go for. You can fight the Theseus and you can win there, but if your opponent micros at all decently, then I think that the Jason gets more value than you get from the damage inflicted. So I feel like it's just better to just pull into your main base and be fine here, as he does hit Hermes, and I'm going to be pulling this Rhino underneath Tower Fire. No problems here, and I should be able to just use this Rhino and throw it into the town. So it's actually a decent position there. Probably would be worth to drop another granary there, in all honesty. I could use it for a efficient farm later as well, so not really a bad thing. I don't know why I didn't, but I'm actually not too upset with the position right now. I feel like this is completely fine. One thing that I should be doing now, I can't remember if I did, but this is vitally important for the ISIS success going with Ancestors Eclipse, but it's to try and get your Sphinx, not necessarily to find villagers. I don't even care if I find a villager. I'm not looking to kill any. I just don't want to lose the Sphinx, and I want to get some scouting done. I want to see where my opponent's second town center is. I want to see, does he have Hunt on that second town center? Does he have a good map here to defend me? And where should I be attacking? This should be the first, second, third, fourth thing that I should be looking for here, and I'm not sure I'm focusing on it too well. And I think in future, when I'm playing with ISIS, this is going to be something, especially against Greek, this is going to be something that I'm going to focus in on. And I do actually get the scouting off, and I do see some things here. So the first thing to note is there's a couple of gold mines down the bottom side of the map. If I take a look at my side of the map, I can actually only see one gold mine on my backside here, which might give me some sort of a idea that, yeah, there's only a couple of gold mines here on his backside of the map here. So maybe, just maybe, we could get a gold star over there. But in the game, I didn't think about this. In all honesty, I'm still trying to figure out where his town center is. I can guess that it's over the other side, and the oh, I am not. That's a bad play there. I should have ran as soon as the Theseus got over there. I thought I could kill a villager. It's not worth it to trade a Sphinx for a villager anyway. So that was a bad trade there. But I think the general thing in the back of my mind here is Ancestors Eclipse onto a town center is going to be the most value I can get. My plan with Ancestors Eclipse is to kill off the villagers that are on that town center. I want to get somewhere in the vicinity of 10 to 20 villager kills during Ancestors Eclipse. Has to be the game plan, because my opponent will have been on 2 town centers for around 5 minutes here. I would have to guess 5 minutes more than me before I get to my second town center. So say he gets it up at 5 minutes, then my timing attack might hit at 10 minutes. So that's 5 minutes. That's 4 villagers per minute in front that he should be getting in front of me. So that means 5 minutes he'll be what's math? Can't do math. It is 20, right? 5 times 4. Yeah. So he's going to be 20 villagers in front of me. So if I can kill off a ton of villagers with Ancestors Eclipse and the timing push, then I will effectively be at an equal point, and I can go into a boom war, or I can be fine where that's concerned. But we'll see how it's all going to go. Getting my Scorpion Men out, getting my units out. I make a really big mistake here. This is something that I think it's... I'm not exactly sure how to put this into words, but there's this thought in the back of my mind that Egyptians need gold. And the actual truth of the matter is they don't need gold unless you're building buildings, which I've already got my Migdol, I've already got my Siege Workshop, and what that means is I don't actually need villagers on gold anymore. What I need is villagers on wood. And if you think about it, the Chariot Archer costs 40 gold, the Chariot Archer costs 100 wood. So what does that mean for your economy? Well, your economy should basically look like 10 villagers on wood 4 villagers on gold, that kind of a ratio. There's also the siege towers to work out, which means the siege towers are more of a 2-to-1 ratio instead of a 10-to-4 or a 6-to-3 ratio. So you can kind of figure out exactly what you need to get these units out really, really quickly. And you can actually see me saying, well, I'm going to buy wood here because I'm screwing this up. But yeah, if I had maybe just gone a little bit more onto wood here, would have been fine. Dropping the town center here is also, technically speaking, a mistake. It's 500 resources plus the villagers not gathering when I'm going for a timing attack. Doesn't make sense. The better play most of the time here is to not drop the town center and go for the mythic age if you're going for a 1 town center play like I am here in order to continue your pressure, especially if you've got access to this entire area of the map. I think in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I don't have access to hunt here, so things are going to be a little bit upsetting for me, and I'm not going to be able to get to the mythic age. But in truth, I still have the hunt that's remaining of my gazelle over on the right side of the map. I've still got zebra in the middle of the map. I've still got a whole bunch of that middle hunt there, which I should be fine to eat while I'm putting pressure onto my opponent here. And I just don't think about that. I drop the town center, and effectively I'm accepting that my opponent is just going to be in front of me, and me spending these resources takes around about 5 minutes for them to actually start paying off. And I've got a lot of catching up to do here. Batuhann here, he plays this really nicely. This is a really nice heroic age. 11 minutes into the game, 2 town centers, cast ceasefire before my army approaches here, and I'm going to be clicking Ancestors Eclipse here to take out this town center. So he's done damage to me with his god power. My god power's gone. I'm going to be able to kill off the town center, but I'm not focusing too much over here. I've got to focus on my economy. I should be literally, all of these units of mine should be not on this town center at the moment. I should be looking for villagers here, but I am not looking for villagers at all. You can see two siege towers on that town center is more than enough. Those ancestors should be running through the base here, looking for something to kill. I can see where his heroes are over there, and I do not need to be close to them as he's retreating away. And I get the town center kill, which does give me some time here to catch back up in this game. But I don't have much time left on my ancestors, and I'm gonna have to figure this one out, as I don't think I picked off a single villager here, maybe 1 villager kill during that Ancestors Eclipse, which means he is going to be very, very far in front of me on the economy right now. Even though I killed the town center, which does give me a kind of 700 resource advantage in the actual damage done, which does matter. He's gathered way more than 700 resources in terms of his value out of that town center for the time being that he had there. Is now, I want to draw your attention back to the map. If I went to the bottom of the map here instead of the top, and I pushed through on that side, my opponent Batuhann here would not have had any gold income right now. He's most likely gathered all the gold in his main base, and I would actually be in a really good position, because I would have been able to push into the main base and do exactly the same strat, take out the main town center. I would have picked off a ton more villagers, but going for that second town center felt like the right move in the game, and in the end, in hindsight, it was not. So got to live and let live here. We got to now move into a completely different game plan, and that game plan is effectively get as much damage done onto his economy while trying to get myself to the late game. And here's the thing. As Ra, you might be able to beat Poseidon in the late game. As Isis, you might be able to beat Poseidon in the late game. You have to go through Osiris. You have to have monuments to kill off the enemy Colossus. So there's no option to go for Thoth here, unless you've got a serious advantage and you can push forward with those Thoth elephants. So there's no real option for Thoth, and that means I have to go Osiris. So I'm going to be attempting to do that, but I don't think that I can just pull back and stay 2 town centers and go Horus here. Or not Horus, Osiris here. There is hunt. I am on the hunt in the middle of the map, and this should be enough for me to get to the next age, but I really don't have a whole lot of defense over here. As Batuhann moving forward, my Migdol will help me out quite a bit here. I am going to be pulling my villagers off to get a couple of kills over on this location, which, I mean, it's not all bad because he loses quite a lot on this attack. My chariot archers should be doing a good amount of damage. I'm going to be pulling off the gold mine here, and it should be fine as I can move villagers over onto the other side, but taking my villagers off of gold, off of food and onto gold here, not exactly what I want, as it looks like Batuhann has now got up to 3 town centers, and his economy is going to be incredibly strong here in this game, incredibly strong. And I am also Egyptian, so I'm quite far behind already, just innately because I'm Egyptian. So a lot of catching up to do. I'm going to grab my town center, and my thought process here is, okay, late game means all I need to do to survive here for the moment is get myself to 30-ish camel caravans and then start getting technologies. I don't feel like, I don't feel like a Son of Osiris, while it probably could be enough to hold him for a little bit, I don't think it's going to be as big of a help as one might think, though this might be the wrong thought process here, and maybe having rushed the Mythic Age here would have been a good way to play. But I'm just saying I'm behind. I'm going to try and get some damage done with my chariot archers as best as I possibly can here. Sniping units and all the other, like trying to do some fancy chariot archer micro, pick off some Toxotes, pull back, pick off some Toxotes, pull back, that kind of thing. And we still going to keep trying to get these villagers through onto this town center over here, getting the farms up and all the other good stuff, going for the classic windmill formation. It's a really useful way to build farms, just knowing the pattern, just as a completely side thought going forward. I don't think that you should go for the full windmill unless you're actually empowering the town center. If you've got a granary nearby, I think you should be going for that. It's not that big of a deal, but yeah, it's something to think about. As my villagers are going to be finishing up on that gold mine over there. Batuhann does have himself heavy cavalry, which does scare me quite a bit. And he is coming through to raid me as I can't get my walls up over there. I should just send some scorpion men over there to deal with those cavalry. They should be completely fine to deal with that. But Batuhann's kind of all over me here. And the thing is, when Poseidon is in the heroic age against like the chariot archer scorpion men kind of fight, it's really hard to snipe the Atlanta because she moves at a speed of 6.0, which means if she's moving, your chariot archers can't hit her. So in order to actually kill the Atlanta needs to be attacking your scorpion men. So you're kind of trading HP where you wouldn't want to really otherwise be doing that. Whereas if you're playing against Zeus or Hades, I think Hades does have Achilles, which moves at maybe 5.5 speed. I could be misremembering. It might be 5.0 speed. But I think, I think it's a bit tough against the Poseidon. So you do have to go into something else. And I probably haven't played this one macro-wise and strategically to the best of my ability. I think if I threw barracks down and made spearmen here, I think that would have been a really good idea earlier in the game, especially when you push out of your base and all that stuff. There's my opponent causing some problems over here. He really likes doing this. He really likes coming in onto my town center and like sending his cavalry through to get some harass over there. I think it's a fairly useful tactic, to be honest, but against Egyptian you can just spam out some mercenary infantry and you should be fine. As I'm a little bit short on favor here to drop a Migdol stronghold on that gold mine over there. I'm going to try and throw some walls up, but it's still going to be a little bit of a challenging moment. I was going to get those barracks up, get the monument up. I do have to be worried about Artemis. Artemis is going to come through and take out one of my town centers. Is going to be a little bit annoying here, as I am starting to get my trade going, which I think is a fairly big deal. As if I can get that trade going, then I can spam mercenary. And maybe I can hold on and potentially win with, like, I don't know, a wonder or some sort of just holding and getting into some stronger units and countering my opponent's units well enough is kind of the idea here. And I am starting to get these cavalry out, which, yeah, I don't think the cavalry are a good idea. I think that every time I build cavalry, I kind of regret it. I feel like they're only strong with Ra. When Ra gets the bonus HP on the cavalry, it ends up giving you enough value for them to work. But yeah, we're building the camera at this point just to kind of deal with our opponent here as my chariot archers struggling to kill off that lantern. You can see Batuhann is actually marking that one fairly well. I should be noticing that a little bit quicker, or even not targeting it until it comes through. As he gets Hephaestus, it's not crazy fast here, but it does make me go, oh bugger. Hephaestus much earlier than I'm in the mythic ages. It's definitely a scary thing to say the very least, because he's going to have those Colossus. So that means I need to think about how I'm going to survive here against Colossus while still being in this third age. Maybe stopping trade for the time being and throwing everyone, and maybe retreating all my villagers back would be a good idea. I don't necessarily need this gold mine anymore because I do have that trade route up. Though having the gold for just a little bit longer is not that bad of an idea. I am trying to be a little bit cheeky and throwing some side buildings down. I've only got the one barracks up, it seems, and I'm just so content with not going into spearmen. I should have gone in with spearmen. It's a very important way to play, I reckon, for Isis against Poseidon, is to definitely get those spearmen out, because it forces the Poseidon player to make a pacifist, which then allow your chariot archers to get a lot of value. But right now, he doesn't really need to move away from Hippocon, so he doesn't have to spend any resources where that's concerned, as there are some walls coming over into my base, which I can already kind of feel the pain starting to come, and the pain is Poseidon's late game. And what Poseidon does so absurdly well is spam buildings and make your life a living hell. Yeah, there's not a good way to deal with Poseidon's buildings at all. You can't, like, maybe towers and catapult are the best way that I can think of to kind of clean up buildings, but it's a lot of investment where that's concerned, as he's now sending his Colossus into my base, which is a little bit unfortunate. I don't actually notice where it's going, but I do start the production there. As my gold is still trying to come through. I'm still trying to defend here, but I just don't have the resources to do a whole lot, as I still don't know where that Colossus is. If you look at my main base, I'm currently being attacked by the Colossus. I haven't noticed it yet. I see he's throwing some walls up over here, and I am not liking it one bit, as I do get a Migdol up, and that should be enough to defend my trade route for the time being, as he is on his champion Hippocon. I get myself my Masons, and I decide, yeah, I'm not getting to the mythic age here, even with all of these caravans. It can be a tough one here for Isis, but in reality, my Ancestors Eclipse timing push, my timing on Ancestors Eclipse should be much better. It should do much more damage. And if I was if I'd killed off those 20 villages or 10 villages or just anything there with the Ancestors Eclipse, I would have found myself in a much better position and probably could have had a decent game there. But because I got no damage with it, that's just chalked it up to a bit of an L there in the end. And sad as it is, but another win for Batuhann. I think now that makes it 3-2. So we'll move on to game 6 tomorrow. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. It was a fun one to play, even if my wrist didn't want to cooperate. Batuhann is a really fun opponent. Thanks everyone for watching. If you did enjoy it, please consider hitting the subscribe button or leaving a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.